Nothing better demonstrates Airbus's dominance in the aviation market than the fact that their planes can say no to pilots who try to do something dangerous. These planes can take off and land with the pilot not seeing a thing. Plus, you never have to worry about your pilots losing control if they're tired. The computer-assisted flying is so good that pilots can take a nap in secret nap rooms above the cabin. It's every pilot's dream come true, and it gets better. An Airbus literally feels like an Xbox on wheels. The side-stick controls feel more like a gaming console than a cockpit. And you know what's crazy? This isn't even how Airbus became dominant. That story began in Europe in 1970, way before Airbus rose, crushed Boeing, and became a $100 billion beast. This airplane isn't just an engineering feat. It's a political statement that beat America at its own game, changed the world, and almost bankrupted its company. But where the heck did they come from? The origins of Airbus. It all started in the 1960s, when American companies dominated commercial aviation. Remember the Boeing 707, Douglas DC-8? Anyways, at the time, Europe's aviation industry was so scattered that smaller manufacturers were unable to compete individually. Some of the factors that made the American aircraft manufacturers world favorites included the size of America itself, which sort of made air transportation popular, the fact that there was a 1942 Anglo-American agreement which entrusted the production of transport aircraft to the United States, and the World War II legacy of America being a profitable, powerful nation with a significant aeronautical industry. So the European nations had no choice but to admit that there was a problem. They realized, oh no single European aircraft manufacturer could compete with the American giants. What do we do? By the mid-1960s, several European aircraft manufacturers had drawn up competitive designs even though they were aware of the risks. According to Wikipedia, one such design was Hawker Siddeley's vision of the Airbus. In 1959, Hawker Siddeley, a group of British manufacturing companies dealing in aircraft production, had advertised an Airbus version of the Armstrong-Whitworth AW660 Argosy, which they claimed would be able to lift as many as 126 passengers on ultra-short routes. Soon after that, negotiations began. The European aeronautical industry ate it up, along with their governments. In 1965, Hawker Siddeley, at the urging of the UK government, partnered with Breguet and Nord to study Airbus designs, and that Hawker Siddeley/Breguet/Nord combination became the foundation for the continuation of the project. So, on the 18th of December 1970, Airbus Industrie was formally established as a Groupement d'intérêt économique, that is, an initiative between France, West Germany, and the UK. So, officially, France's Aerospatiale, West Germany's Deutsche Airbus, Hawker Siddeley, and the Dutch company Fokker VFBAF-WAD formed the initial partnership and built the new wide-body twin-engine aircraft, which was a revolutionary design that cut fuel costs and improved efficiency. As for the name Airbus itself, that name was chosen because it was already a generic term used by airlines in the 1960s to describe large passenger aircraft. Keying into that familiarity might have also contributed to the business's success. But could Airbus have beaten Boeing in the aeronautical industry alone? Probably not. These are some of the key moments in the company's rise. These moments represent a turning point in how Airbus went from a fragile European experiment to Boeing's biggest rival, and often its superior. Key moments in its rise, Airbus was born out of a partnership between Europe's main powers, France, West Germany, and later, the UK and Spain. This partnership was a direct political response to the US's aviation dominance and paved way for Europe's unified aerospace industry. But the partnership did have a rocky start. For example, France, Germany, and the UK argued over who would lead the project, which factories got the most work, whose design philosophies to follow. Eventually, in 1969, the UK government pulled out officially over cost concerns and political shifts, though Hawker Siddeley stayed on and kept building the wings as a subcontractor. From there, Airbus evolved from a fragile political experiment to a full-blown rival to Boeing, eventually overtaking them in market share in certain years. To become number one, Airbus had to make some really questionable moves, like loaning A300s for free to Eastern Airlines in the US, an unheard-of marketing gamble. It paid off significantly in the end, but the full story is that even though the A300s were more fuel-efficient and cheaper to operate than US trijets like the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 or Lockheed L-1011, nobody was buying the A300SS, especially not in the US, which dominated global aviation at the time. So, Airbus, led by visionary sales chief Bernard Latier, approached them with a bold idea. Loan our A300S. If you're not satisfied, return the planes and we'll cover the support, maintenance, and training. All you have to do is pay for the operating costs during a 6-month trial, and it worked. The aircraft performed brilliantly in terms of fuel efficiency, ease of operation, and passenger capacity. Everyone at Eastern Airlines was impressed, so in April 1978, Eastern Airlines announced it would purchase 23 Airbus A300s, with options for 9 more. This was the biggest non-European order Airbus had received up to that point. The sale actually helped legitimize Airbus globally. When Airbus launched the A320 in 1988, it wasn't just introducing a new plane, it was introducing a new way of flying. I'll explain. See, before the A320, commercial aircrafts relied on mechanical or hydromechanical controls, meaning the pilot's control stick was physically linked via cables, pulleys, and hydraulics to the control surfaces like the ailerons, elevators, rudder. That meant the pilot's muscle input with the hydraulics directly moved the aircraft's control surfaces. But that was then. Airbus swapped this traditional method of flying with the fly-by-wire controls, which meant no mechanical linkage between the controls and the flight surfaces. Pilots flying isn't determined by their strength. Inputs instead go into a computer, which interprets them and sends electronic signals to hydraulic actuators on the control surfaces. Pilots could no longer do dangerous stuff with the plane. The new system applies flight envelope protections. The introduction of the fly-by-wire controls was a radical shift at the time because a computer deciding how to fly a plane, most people thought it was ridiculous. Even some pilots initially resisted. To them, it felt less hands-on and more like you were giving instructions to a system rather than directly flying. But the advantages could not be overlooked after a time, so the A320 became a massive success, with over 10,000 units delivered so far as of early 2025, making it one of the best-selling airliners ever, alongside Boeing's 737. The A320's success proved FBW for commercial jets wasn't just viable, it was the future. So the side-stick plus FBW philosophy became a signature Airbus feature. Airbus launched other fantastic products, including the Beluga transporter and the A320neo, which brought 15 to 20% fuel savings, quieter engines, and better range. This eco-conscious update was a major evolutionary upgrade to the A320 family, and it led to record-breaking sales so big that by launch, the A320neo already had over 1,000 orders, making it the fastest-selling airliner in history at the time. As of 2025, over 9,000 A320neo family aircraft have been ordered. But what about the Beluga transporter? Why was it such a big deal? While not a passenger jet, the Beluga is one of Airbus's most visually distinctive creations because, before the Beluga, moving major aircraft sections in different European countries relied on slower ships and trucks. They needed a flying warehouse to move those oversized parts between aircraft assembly plants, and that led to the development of the Beluga. The Beluga's design was based on the A300-600 airframe, although it was heavily modified, like its upper fuselage allowed it to carry cargo with a 7.4-meter diameter and up to 47 tons. The unique design of the plane further made Airbus a symbol of engineering creativity. As you see, clearly Airbus has had strategic decision-makers even throughout history, and that's helped them become the giant company they are right now. Earlier in Airbus's history, one of the key decision-makers was Roger Betele. It can be said that without the revolutionary decisions Roger took, Airbus's rise to legacy status might have been delayed, or maybe they might not even be around now. Anyways, Roger Betele, who was one of the technical directors for Airbus at the time, was the one who led the team that redesigned Airbus's plane from 300 seats to 250. By making the aircraft smaller, Airbus could use existing engine technology and one fewer engine than their US rivals, Boeing. This made Airbus's aircraft cheaper to build, cheaper to buy, and cheaper to run. Roger was famously quoted as saying, "I wanted to use all the available talents and capacities to their utmost without worrying about the color of the flag or what language was spoken." A mindset that was nothing short of visionary at a time when the world was still licking its wounds from World War II and the USSR's hold over the rest of Europe. Airbus's strategic decision to also have the A310-300 use an all-composite fin was the first time an all-composite primary structure had been used. Those are big words, so here's the explanation. Imagine you have a big kite. Normally, the frame of the kite is made from metal sticks, strong but heavy, and can rust over time. Now, what if instead you made the frame from super strong plastic mixed with tiny black threads called carbon fiber, which are lighter than metal but just as strong? Imagine how much more effective the kite would be. That's kind of what Airbus did with the A310-300's tail fin, which is basically the big vertical part at the back of the plane that helps it stay straight in the air. Before this development, airplanes always made that part out of metal, but Airbus was the first to make the whole tail fin out of carbon fiber composite. This made the plane lighter, so it used less fuel, stronger, so it could handle lots of flights without wearing out, rust-proof, so it lasted longer. And it worked so well that now many new airplanes are built with lots of these special materials. Where Airbus stands today and what the future might look like in 2025, Airbus isn't just one of the successful companies. It has become the most powerful aircraft manufacturer in the world. By the numbers, they've had 8,600 A320neo orders to date. And because of the Boeing crisis, several airlines leaned more heavily on Airbus for reliability and public confidence. If you want to know more about the Boeing crisis, let me know in the comments what the future looks like. Airbus is looking beyond the skies now towards space, defense, and AI. In space and defense, Airbus is building Earth observation satellites, spacecraft, and secure military systems. Their projects include work with the European Space Agency, ESA, and commercial satellite clients. Airbus is also investing in AI-assisted piloting, cockpit automation, and single-pilot operations on certain flights. They've even already developed autonomous taxiing, takeoff, and landing systems, ATL program, and pledged to launch the world's first hydrogen-powered commercial aircraft by 2035. Their goal is to increase safety, reduce crew workload, and lead the charge toward zero-emission aviation, since whoever achieves this will dominate the next 50 years of aviation. What do you think? Who's going to win that race? Airbus or Boeing?